RRR film. RRR is a 2022 Indian Telugu language epic action drama film directed by S.S. Rajamouli, who co-wrote the film with V. Vijayendra Prasad. It was produced by D.V.V. Dania of D.V.V. Entertainment. The film stars N.T. Ramarao Jr., Ram Charan, Ajay Devgan, Alia Bhatt, Shreya Saran, Samu Thirikani, Ray Stevenson, Alison Doody, and Olivia Morris. It centers around two real-life Indian revolutionaries, Alluri Sitaramarayu Charan and Komaram Bhim Rama Rao, their fictional friendship and their fight against the British Raj. Set in the RRRs, the plot explores the undocumented period in their lives when both the revolutionaries chose to go into obscurity before they began the fight for their country. Indian Telugu language film by S.S. Rajamouli. Rajamouli came across stories about the lives of Rama Raju and Bhim and connected the coincidences between them, imagining what would have happened had they met and been friends. The film was formally announced in March 2018. Principal photography of the film began in November 2018 in Hyderabad and continued until August 2021, owing to delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The film was shot extensively across India, with a few sequences filmed in Ukraine and Bulgaria. The film's soundtrack and background score were composed by M. Keeravani, with cinematography by K. Senthil Kumar and editing by Srikar Prasad. Subbu Cyril is the film's production designer, whilst V. Srinivas Mohan supervised the visual effects made on a budget of 550 rupees crore $72 million. RRR is the most expensive Indian film to date. The film was initially scheduled for theatrical release on 30 July 2020, which was postponed multiple times due to production delays and the pandemic. RRR was released theatrically on 25 March 2022 with 240 rupees crores million worldwide on its first day. RRR recorded the highest opening day earned by an Indian film. The film grossed 1,200 rupees crores million worldwide, setting several box office records for an Indian film, including the third highest grossing Indian film and second highest grossing Telugu film worldwide. It emerged as the highest grossing film in its home market of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, grossing over 415 rupees crores million. Received universal acclaim for Rajamouli's direction, writing, performances of the cast, particularly of Rama Rao and Charan's, soundtrack, background score, action sequences, cinematography, editing, and visual effects. Among other accolades, RRR became the third Indian film and the first Telugu film to receive nominations at the Golden Globes, including Best Foreign Language Film and won Best Original Song for Natu Natu. The film was considered one of the 10 best films of the year by the National Board of Review. Plot. In 1920, during the British Raj, Administrator Scott Buxton and his wife Catherine visit a forest in Adilabad, where they adopt Mali, a young girl with a talent for artistry, from the Gond tribe. Enraged by the act, the tribe's guardian Komaram Bhim embarks to Delhi with the intent of rescuing her, under the guise of a Muslim man named Akhtar. Elsewhere, the Nizamate of Hyderabad, sympathetic to the Raj, warns Scott's office of the impending danger. Undeterred, Catherine enlists the assistance of a Rama Raju, an ambitious officer in the Indian Imperial Police, to quell the threat. Embarking on his new assignment, Raju and his uncle, Venkat Swarulu, attend several pro-independence gatherings in the hopes of finding clues. His opinions attract the attention of Lakhu, Bhim's gullible eyefelling for Raju's trickery. He attempts to induct him into Bhim's plot, only to flee when he discovers his true identity. A short while later, both Bhim and Raju encounter each other, unaware of their opposing identities and intentions. They unite to save a boy from a train wreck, sparking a friendship between the two. Over time, the two grow close to each other. Raju subsequently assists Bhim in courting Jenny, Scott's niece, unaware of his intention to infiltrate Scott's residence. When Jenny takes Bhim to her residence, Bhim locates the room where Mali is being held in captivity. He meets Mali and promises Mali that he will free her. Meanwhile, Raju deduces Lakhu's covert identity and whereabouts. He subsequently apprehends him. While interrogating him, Lakhu goads a banded crate into attacking Raju. He thereafter warns him of his imminent fate and that the antidote is only known to the Gonds. Dazed, Raju approaches Bhim, who immediately tends to him. Noticing similar religious features between Lakhu and Bhim, Ryu deduces his true intentions. Regardless, Beam divulges his tribal identity and his mission, still unaware of Raju's covert identity. An event held in Scott's honor, Beam's men barge into his residence with a lorry filled with wild animals, which creates havoc among the assembled guests. The animals maul Scott's guards, allowing Beam to briefly fight. However, Ryu arrives and subsequently discloses to him of Scott's intention to kill Mally. He surrenders out of obligation. In the aftermath of the incident, Ryu is promoted for thwarting Beam, yet he is absorbed with guilt over his own actions, recalling his own pro-nationalistic background and his actual alter ego as a mole within the police. He was seeking a promotion in order to gain access to shipments of guns to smuggle to his village. At Beam's public flogging, Ryu attempts to persuade him into recanting his actions. The former chooses to be flogged instead, resisting his injuries. Beam sings in defiance, which incites an assembled crowd into rebelling. The riot further enlightens Ryu, who finally realizes the recklessness of his actions. Determined to save his friend, he persuades Scott to secretly execute Beam whilst preparing an ambush to save him. Nevertheless, Scott deduces his plot. Whilst managing to rescue Mally from Scott's men, Ryu is grievously injured. Beam, who had simultaneously managed to free himself, mistakenly interprets Raju's actions as an attempt to kill Mally. He bludgeons him before escaping with her. Months later, Beam, who had escaped with Mally to Hathras, is cornered by the colonial authorities. He narrowly avoids being exposed when Sita, Raju's fiancée, repels them by claiming of a smallpox epidemic as a pretext in order of Beam's identity. She reveals Raju's actual anti-colonial objectives and of his impending execution. Crestfallen upon realizing his own folly, Beam vows to save him. With the assistance of a sympathetic Jenny, Beam infiltrates the barracks where Ryu is detained and frees him, alerting multiple soldiers in the process. Defeating them, the pair retreat to a nearby forest, where they decimate more soldiers with the use of a longbow taken from a ram's shrine. Taking the fight to Scott, the pair hurl a flaming motorcycle into the barracks magazines, which consequently ignites. The subsequent explosion kills many within Scott's company, including Catherine. Having finally cornered a wounded Scott, Ryu has Beam execute him with an English rifle, fulfilling their respective objectives. They subsequently steal a cache of Scott's weaponry, later reuniting with Sita and Jenny in honor of completing their respective missions. Ryu asks Beam to let him grant a wish for him, to which Beam asks Ryu to provide education to him and his community. Music. Main article: RRR soundtrack. Rajamoouli's older cousin and regular collaborator Keeravani composed the score and the soundtrack of the film. The audio rights of the film were purchased for 25 rupees crores million by Lahari Music and T-Series, which was a record price for a South Indian album. Lahari Music distributed the soundtrack in all of the South Indian languages, whereas the Hindi soundtrack is marketed by T-Series. Soundtrack consists of 7 original songs composed by Keeravani, namely Dosti Transl, Friendship, Nata Nata Transl, Dance Dance Janani Transl, Mother, Kamurambi Mudo, Ramam Rayavam, Etharagenda, and Kama Wayala. Lyrics are written by Sirivenala Sitharma Sastry, Chandra Bose, Keeravani, Sudala Ashok Tija, Keshiva Dutta, and Ramajogiya Sastry. Critical reception. RRR opened to universal acclaim from both Indian and Western critics. Praise was for its screenplay and direction by Rajamouli, the bombastic action sequences, characterization, performances from its leads, and musical numbers. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, a percentage of 77 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of. The website's consensus reads, "Intoxicatingly over the top." RRR pulls out all the stops to make the absolute most of its 187-minute runtime. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 83 out of 100, based on 16 critics, indicating universal acclaim. In June 2022, the film was ranked 86th globally in the list of Rotten Tomatoes' the 100 best movies, 3 hours or longer, making it the third Indian film to be on the list after Lagan 12th and Gangs of Wasseypur 66th. USA Today ranked the film in their list of best movies of 2022 so far. In June of the same year, starring a dash of Bollywood hungama, gave the film a rating of and termed RRR solid entertainer that doesn't make you restless. Despite a marathon runtime, the screenplay is wonderfully constructed. The twists and turns are attention-grabbing, and the nail-biting episodes as well as superbly executed action. Rottam Rajgul of Deccan Herald gave the film a rating of and wrote, "The action-packed climax again hits the right notes as the visuals do the talking, the hallmark of good storytelling." Nishita Neopati of the Times of India gave the film a rating of and wrote, "RRR is not perfection by any means despite Rajamouli's best efforts, because after the way he pulls off certain scenes, you wonder if he could have done a better job in certain others. But watch this one this weekend if you've been pining for a good action-packed drama." Heinz Mankitt of Pinkvilla gave the film a rating of and wrote, "RRR has the best action sequences to offer in an Indian film, with an unimaginable interval block and a roaring finale." Janani K of India Today gave the film a rating of and wrote, "RRR is a terrific film with brilliant performances and amazing set pieces." A reviewer from Deccan Chronicle gave the film a rating of and wrote, "RRR is a fantastic film that's meant for the big screen." Latha Srinivasan of First Post gave the film a rating of and wrote, "Ram Charan and Jantra's off-screen friendship and camaraderie seep into their on-screen performances, and the organic transformation from strangers to brothers in arms has been captured beautifully." Savia Rajendran of the News Minute gave the film a rating of and wrote, "RRR is just the kind of visual treat that will bring people back to theaters." Bharathi Pradhan of Laren gave the film a rating of and wrote, "SSR rescues his adventure with a smorgasbord of skillfully choreographed, shot and performed action pieces that have you cheering lustily. The temporary boredom soon forget." And Shubhra Gupta of the Indian Express gave the film a rating of and wrote, "The film casts not just one superstar, but two of them, Jur NTR and Ram Charan. The biggest superstar among them all is SS Rajamouli, and the audience also saved the loudest, tallest claps for him." Pratik Sir of Outlook India gave the film a rating of and wrote, "The film's grand representation is what makes this a must-watch." Stut Ghosh of The Quint gave the film a rating of and wrote, "Parts of RRR seem ridiculous and reductive. It's also absolutely ravishing, and for that it deserves to be seen and enjoyed." Rahul Devalapalli of The Week gave the film a rating of and wrote, "Visually stunning action sequences, exceptionally synchronous dance moves stand out." Sable Chatterjee of NDTV gave the film a rating of and wrote, "The film rings hollow because it never pauses for breath and does not grant its two male protagonists anything akin to recognizable human qualities, although they do constantly harp on love and longing." Sukanya Verna of Rediff gave the film a rating of and wrote, "A copious amount of blood, beating, crying, saving, sacrificing, nationalism fills up its staggering 3 hours running time. Emotions run sky high, but you feel nothing. Calling RRR bigger than Ben-Hur." Deadline Hollywood's Stephanie Bunbury wrote, "RRR is one action crescendo after another, never dull but not exhausting either." In her review for Polygon, Katie Rife stated, "RRR is a busy movie, full of kinetic camera work, bustling crowd scenes, elaborate set design, expensive-looking CGI, and loud sound effects." Sidnat Adlaka of IndieWar praised Rajamouli's work, Keeravani's music, and acting performances of lead actors. He further wrote, "There are outshines even the director's previous venture." Bahubali, reviewing the film for the Austin Chronicle, Josh Hurtado called RRR a romantic action nirvana. Hurtado stated that Rajamouli turned a patriotic fantasy into an incredibly entertaining reality for fans of big action, big emotions, and big laughs. Joel Lydon, in his review for Variety, felt RRR was bigger than life and bolder than mainstream action-adventure epic. Nicholas Rappold of the New York Times stated, "Rajamouli shoots the film's action with hallucinogenic fervor, supercharging scenes with a shimmering brand of extended slow motion and CGI that feels less generated than unleashed." Screen International's Tara Judah wrote that RRR was big, bold, and bombastic, feeling the film was big screen entertainment at its best. Writing for Rolling Stone, David Fear cited the film as best and most revolutionary of 2022. He further wrote that RRR is about the movies, the thrill of watching stories told at larger-than-life levels, the joy of watching stars collide, the effort of rendering lavish mythologies at whatever the digital equivalent of 24 frames per second is, the sensation of seeing manufactured movement via gleefully conspicuous special effects bump up against genuine physical effort. Praising the dance number Nafu Nafu, he states seriously, the Desi Nach dance sequence feels like a Gene Kelly number dialed up to superhuman level scaling in a dude's rock movie. Hannah Kinney-Cooper of Pittsburgh City Paper compared RRR with American English language films and wrote that the politics that power American blockbusters are milquetoast and are incomprehensible. The only thing that justifies their plots is the studio executives' emphasis on recognizable intellectual property as a way to drive up box office totals. If our system can only produce movies that refuse to make the most of their astronomical budgets, why not look elsewhere? RRR is a good place to start. Richard Brody of The New Yorker felt that the film is of shortcuts and elisions no less relentless than those of American superhero or superstar vehicles, but Rajamouli is an artist of a distinctive temperament and talent. On a final note, he further wrote the movie's powerful sense of revolutionary virtue and collective purpose yields to nationalistic pride that's danced and sung with uninhibited joy. Nashville Scene's Jason Shawin opined that RRR, in addition to being a historical epic, political drama, action spectacle, and romantic telenovela, is a film that engages with history on its own terms. This isn't a case of Tollywood aiming for Western wallets. In his review of the film, The Atlantic's David Sims stated, RRR serves as a reminder of how much modern action usually follows a formula. If wonder is to be consistently found on the big screen, then Hollywood has plenty of new lessons to learn from its best competitor. Praising the film, American screenwriter C. Robert Cargill called it a craziest, most sincere, weirdest blockbuster, praising the film's direction and action sequences. The Globe and Mail's Aparta Pandari opined that the officers of the British Raj are shown as caricatures, which does not add depth to the narrative. There is very little character development or social or historical context. She further wrote the female characters barely have a role to play, despite the fact that one of Indian cinema's leading actresses, Alia Bhatt, plays Raju Spianch. Collider's Chase Hutchinson stated an unrelenting ride of a film that makes blockbusters such as Top Gun, Maverick look like child's play and leaves whatever is happening in Jurassic World Dominion in its dust. S.S. Rajamouli's action musical epic RRR is what cinema can only hope to aspire to. Calling it the craziest movie of the year, Adam Graham of the Detroit News further stated that was breakout significant though, and it's the kind of accessible, crossover success story that brings more eyes to different cultures, styles, and voices across the globe. Even its subtext is winning favor. The supercharged bromance at the center of the film has been celebrated by some who see Ryu and Beam as gay superheroes acting out a love affair bubbling just below the surface of all those explosions. In an article published by Screen Rant, Mark Donaldson wrote that his portrayal of the racism and oppression of colonialism makes it vital viewing for Western audiences that are interrogating their own country's troubling colonial past. A critic writing for Israeli newspaper Haaretz praised Rajamouli's screenplay and his vision to make the film. They further compared RRR with Hollywood films and opined that it is truly an entertaining film. Comic Book Resources cited it as the best blockbuster of 2022 and felt that the film gives Western audiences the chance to experience something new, the biggest and best of Indian cinema. In an article published by the Irish Times, Donald Clark stated that RRR is one of the year's unstoppable cultural phenomena. Box office. RRR is estimated to have grossed 1,200 rupees crores million worldwide by the end of its run. During its theatrical run, RRR became the third highest grossing Indian film, the second highest grossing film in India, the second highest grossing Telugu film, and the highest grossing film in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, surpassing Rajamouli's previous film Bahubali 2. Chapter 2, which released 3 weeks later, surpassed RRR's worldwide and India gross figures. As of 28 May 2022, News Telugu estimated that RRR grossed over 1,150 rupees crores million worldwide, with around 415 rupees crores million coming from the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. RRR grossed 83 rupees 40 paise crore from Karnataka, 77 rupees 25 paise crore from Tamil Nadu, 24 rupees 25 paise crore from Kerala, 326 rupees crore from the Hindi belt, 18 rupees 20 paise crore from the rest of India, and 209 rupees crore from the overseas. The report also calculated that the film amassed distributors a share of 613 rupees 6 paise crore as opposed to the break-even point of 451 rupees crore, earning a profit of 160 rupees 6 paise crore from the theatrical revenue. Taran Adarsh reported that the film had a worldwide gross of 223 rupees crores million on its opening day. The Times of India mentioned that the film collected 240 rupees crores million on its opening day worldwide, setting the record for the highest first-day total earned by an Indian film. This record was previously held by Rajamouli's Bahubali 2. After the 2 days of run, the total worldwide gross stood at around 370 rupees crores million in its opening weekend. It grossed between 450 rupees crores million and 485 rupees crores million worldwide, making it the second biggest opening weekend for an Indian film after Bahubali 2. RRR also stood as the top grosser at the global box office during the weekend of March 2022. According to data from Screen Australia, the film collected $2.43 million in its debut week from 133 centres. ABC Australia reported that it is a big debut at the Aussie box office for an Indian film and a non-English language film. RRR's Hindi version domestic weekend collected a net of 74 rupees 50 paise crores million, slightly lower than the post-pandemic record held by Suryavanshi in the Hindi film market. The film has thus become the highest-grossing Indian film in Australia in its first week. RRR grossed 710 rupees crores million worldwide, of which 280 rupees crores million is grossed in its home territory of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The film grossed 900 rupees crores million worldwide in 10 days. The same day, the film entered into profit zone with a distributor's share of 497 rupees crores million by reaching its break-even point of 453 rupees crores million. In 10 days, RRR became the highest-grossing film in its home territory of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana with a gross of over 300 rupees crores million, surpassing Bahubali 2. RRR also became the first film to collect a distributor's share over 100 rupees crores million in the Nizam territory. Telangana, RRR's Hindi dubbed version netted over 200 rupees crores million in India in 13 days, making the second dubbed film to do so after Bahubali reached the 1,000 rupees crores million gross mark in 16 days of its run, thus entering 1,000 crore club and becoming the third highest grossing Indian film after Dangal and Bahubali 2. During this period, the film grossed 382 rupees crores million in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. In the United States, the film grossed over $1 million, becoming the second highest grossing Indian film in US after Bahubali 2. It also emerged as the highest grossing Indian film in Australia with a gross of over $1 million. By 22 April 2022, the film grossed $1 million and $1 million in the Middle East and Europe, including United Kingdom. RRR also holds the record for the highest collection in a single screen for any Telugu film, grossing over 5 rupees crores in Sudarshan 35. Hyderabad. In mid-May 2022, Los Angeles Times reported that the film grossed $1 million in the United States, thus making it the 31st highest-grossing film in the United States of the year. In the opening weekend, the film debuted at the United Kingdom box office with a total gross of, according to Gulf News, the film collected a total gross of $1 million in the Middle East from the 10 days of its theatrical run, $1 million from United Arab Emirates, $1 from Qatar, $1 from Kuwait, and $1 from Saudi Arabia. It was also reported that the film clocked in 230,676 admissions in the same period. The film was re-released several times since its original release. It has collected a total gross of $21,000, 17 rupees lakh from its release in TCL Chinese Theatre on 30 September 2022. Thus, its total re-release gross earnings became during its release in Japan. The film has collected a gross of million for rupees 7 paise crore in its opening weekend, the highest for an Indian film. Thus, it has opened at the 10th position in that week. After the 8th weekend, the film collected a total gross of $1,024 rupees 24 paise crore, thus becoming the highest grossing Indian film in Japan. According to Box Office Mojo, RRR was the 69th and 86th highest-grossing film in 2022 at the United States and the United Kingdom box office market respectively, due to which it has also become the highest-grossing Indian film in 2022 in the respective regions. Accolades. Main article. List of accolades received by Worth. Film has received various awards and nominations. The film was considered to be one of the best films of the year by the National Board of Review, making it only the second non-English film ever to make it to the list. Future. Before the film's release, Rajamouli said that he had no intentions of making a sequel for RRR nor turning it into a franchise. However, writer Vijayendra Prasad said that they started exploring the idea of sequel and hoped to make it happen sometime later. Speaking with Variety, Rama Rao expressed his hope that the world of RRR would be continued as a franchise. During a screening event in Chicago, Rajamouli said that his father and screenwriter Vijayendra Prasad is working on the sequel's story.